So here we go. The right-wing paid actors are sticking to the script. Let's talk about it.
Hey, shout out to Trump for having the balls to put some shit like this on. And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
What a weekend it's been for the news in general. I would say in particular, sports news. This is not a sports channel. I know I've covered a lot of sports on here, but there are a lot of blurred lines between sports and politics and entertainment and politics, and just, everything just seems to be mixed together nowadays. So this is primarily a channel where I'm talking about trending topics, and these are the trending topics. So the first thing I want to say is congrats to the New York Knicks. I'm from New York. I consider myself a New Yorker. I don't live in New York anymore. I was just there, last month. And, I love New York. I'm from the Bronx. I, forever will always root for anything New York. But as far as the New York Knicks organization, I've not been a fan of. In particular, James Dolan, I couldn't care less about the guy. I think he's terrible. I think the Knicks organization has destroyed careers, including Carmelo Anthony's and, to a degree, Patrick Ewing's. I just don't feel like they've taken care of their superstars the way they should have over the years. So I've never been the biggest fan of the organization. But seeing the Knicks win a championship has been great. And I just recently saw earlier today that Spike Lee has been attending New York Knicks games for 41 years, and that he's spent over $10 million on season tickets. So I hear a lot of fans are kind of rooting for him to, get an honorary championship ring. I wouldn't be upset if they did that. I think that they should. So shout out to the city. Shout out to Spike Lee. He's definitely a true fan, and very happy to see the Knicks doing their thing, despite Donald Trump showing up to that one game. But speaking of which, Donald Trump just had this event on Sunday, this UFC event, and this silly ass UFC fighter, Josh Hokit, I believe his name is, Josh Hokit, whatever his name is, decided to go out there, and as you saw in the clip that I played, wanted to call Michelle Obama a man. So first he thanks Donald Trump for having the balls, like it takes balls to do what Donald Trump did. It's complete corruption. And one of the first things that he could think about after he takes his victory lap is that he wants to just claim that Michelle Obama is a man. Something that's not only been debunked, but it's ugly, it's racist, it's misogynistic, and it's disgusting. And I think even right-wingers, a lot of right-wingers are just sick of it. We don't need this anymore. This kind of conversation and commentary is just not needed anymore. There are real things happening in the world, real problems that we need to fix. Whether it's the environment, whether it's war, whether it's the economy, whether it's poverty, all of these things need to be fixed. And here we are having these sports figures who think that they're somehow supporting Trump or getting his loyalty, which they're not. He's loyal to no one. Here they are making fools of themselves and really making the country look stupid by getting up there at an event at the White House. And now you're talking about a former first lady. As I'm watching this, I'm kind of thinking, wow, it's really weird that he chose to say that at that particular moment. So then I'm looking at my feed and I notice Riley Gaines has popped up, and she's getting on camera and she doesn't even know what the talking points are. She's literally asking what she's supposed to say. And I'm wondering, is all of this stuff scripted? I know we've had, media clips where they're all saying similar things, and different celebrities on the left and the right and political commentators seem scripted. But here's the proof that you can see, especially in particular with this clip. So let's roll it.
Wait, tell me the pillars again. So it's pro-life.
So, First Amendment, Second Amendment, sanctity of life, and veteran and first responders.
Okay.
And
First, second. Yep. Cool. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, our veterans, I feel very passionately about. Do you guys if you're going to talk about, I mean, you hate to even call them political issues, but do you specifically say like the left or the right, or is that something you try to kind of refrain from?
I think in our marketing.
Like if I were to say something to the effect of like the left is still doubling down.
Yeah. Yeah, you can say. Okay. I've heard you introduce from the beginning, so.
Okay. First, that's what I needed to figure out really quick is when I first, I mean, definitely over a year though. I would say, can I just say that like around 2 years ago?
So as you can see, she's asking what the pillars are and, you know, what does this mean and what does that mean? She has no idea what she's saying. She's just following a script, following talking points. You know, if we really just stop and pay attention to what's going on, you start to quickly realize how easily society is manipulated. I'm not talking about the individual watching this, whether you're on the right or the left, we're all susceptible to it. We're so divided. Think about like everything, right? So it's not just Republican versus Democrat, right? It's, boxing versus UFC. It's Apple versus Microsoft. It's NBA versus NFL. It's Nike versus Under Armour. It's Disney versus Universal Studios. It's LeBron James versus Steph Curry, or LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, or whatever pitting that we want to put against, one thing against the other. And then here we are as an audience, and we have to take the side of the side that we're supposedly aligned with, even if it doesn't make any sense, even if it's totally crazy. And I see that way more on the right than I do on the left. And I know some people don't want to hear it, but the example is over and over and over and over again. If Donald Trump supports something, that whole party has to go along with it. If the whole party doesn't go along with it, there's a problem. And we've seen that with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we've seen that with Candace Owens, and we've seen that with Tucker Carlson. We're constantly seeing people who go against Donald Trump, and now they're outcast in the MAGA movement. So you still see a lot of people trying to coattail and cling on to that. So when you see these athletes and these B-level celebrities and all these people trying to cling on to Donald Trump and sort of give themselves some sort of boost because of him, knowing that he has no loyalties to them, why is it as a society many of us are just sitting there and we're taking that? If you're on the right, if you're a conservative and you're watching this video, why do you support things that you know is bullshit? Why do we do that? How can Josh Hokit get up there and start calling Michelle Obama a man randomly for no reason at a Whitehouse UFC event? How does he get to do that? Why didn't Joe Rogan snatch that mic and say, hey, we're not going to do that here? I remember Jim Gray doing that to Adrian Broner. I remember Larry Merchant doing that to Floyd Mayweather. Why is it that the crowd didn't boo? Why is it Donald Trump didn't wake up this morning and say, hey, that's not appropriate? We saw John McCain do that when somebody in the audience attacked Barack Obama. Where have we gotten to in the political landscape where people have to support the ugliest thing coming out of their party? Why do we do this? And again, I know somebody on the right is going to bring up, oh, Charlie Kirk. And that brings me to my point. I do feel like it happens way more on the right than it does on the left. But that's not the conversation I'm having here. The conversation I'm trying to have here is, why do we continue to do this? Why are we so divided that way? And why is it that these people are allowed to get up there and say it? And I think it might be just because they're told to do it, or at the very least encouraged to do it. I don't think this was random. I think this whole Michelle Obama is a man thing was deliberately done and planned, whether it was him and a group of buddies, or him and his family, or him and some officials. I don't know who, but I know that that thought was planted way before he got to that event. And he wasn't the only person who knew he was going to say it when he said it. And it's because they know they can feed that sort of thing to their base, and their base is going to eat it all up. And they know it's going to distract from all the real problems that we're having in this world. And trust me, we have a lot. This whole event in general shouldn't have happened, and it did. And one of the reasons why it happened is because of the corruption that you see in this administration. So I think, when you kind of put it all together, it does make sense that this is part of just a narrative. And I'm wondering if anyone else thinks that. I think the video with Riley Gaines is pretty clear. And it just so happened that this happened at the same time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have connected the conversation the way I did today. But it just seems like they're sticking to the script. What do you guys think? Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really goes a long way to help this channel out, especially if you support independent media. I'd greatly appreciate it. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free. It only costs you maybe a couple of seconds to just click like and hit subscribe. And if you've been here for that long and you made it to the end of the video, you might as well just click those buttons. It helps a lot. But with that said, thank you once again for joining me, and you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.